We are diving into modern jazz today, but this is definitely not a history lesson.
No, not at all.
Think of it more like we're unlocking the code to this living, breathing global language
Yeah,
that's all spoken through sound.
exactly. And our mission today is to figure out what makes jazz tick right now. We're talking about the tools, the rules, and the global reach it has today.
Yeah, and framing it that way is so important because jazz isn't just something in old black and white photos.
Right. It's a huge international phenomenon. It connects musicians and fans, across almost every continent, from South America to these amazing new scenes popping up all over Asia.
And you can feel that it's alive. I mean, if you go to cities like London, New York, Chicago, even Tokyo, there are clubs with live jazz happening every single night.
Every night.
It's always moving, always changing, always looking for a new sound.
And I think what's so fascinating is why it's so respected everywhere. It's partly because it demands such a high level of technical skill from the players,
Hmm.
but it's also just structurally brilliant. It's built on this deep history of blending all these different cultural influences together.
Okay, so let's get into that blend. What are the ingredients? What's in the jazz DNA?
Well, if you listen really closely, you can hear the influence from Africa, especially in the rhythms. They use this concept called polyrhythms.
It beans.
It's when you layer multiple different rhythms on top of each other at the same time. It's incredibly complex. So you take that and you meet it with the instruments and the harmony from, say, European classical music.
Okay, so Africa and Europe.
And then you mix all of that with American music, like the blues and spirituals. You weave all those things together and you get a sound that's completely unique.
And to play that, you have to have total mastery of your instrument. We talk about athletes training their whole lives. Is it fair to compare a jazz musician to that?
Oh, absolutely. The level of complexity is completely comparable to being a high-level athlete. You're not just memorizing notes. You're training your brain and your body to react instantly to really complex musical ideas.
So if we boil it all down, what's the single biggest difference between a modern jazz band on stage and, say, a classical orchestra playing Beethoven?
It's one word, really. Improvisation.
Right.
That is the absolute core of jazz music.
But if you just tell a student go improvise, they might think that just means playing random notes. It's not chaos, is it?
Not at all. And that's the brilliant part. It's completely structured. So improvisation means the musicians are making up their solos on the spot, in real time,
Okay.
but they're not just guessing. They're all following a very specific roadmap. It's called a chord progression.
Okay, so let's use an analogy. The chord progression is like the GPS map they all have to follow. It tells them which highways to stay on.
Perfect.
But they can invent their own route.
Yeah.
Take any side street they want, as long as they stay on that main highway.
That is the perfect analogy. The chord progression gives them the rules, the structure. And to invent something new within those rules, you need two things. First, a super deep understanding of music theory.
You got to know the rules to break the rules.
Exactly. And second, you need incredible technical mastery of your instrument. You can't just think up an amazing melody. You have to be able to physically play it instantly.
And that real-time creation is what it's all about. I love how the band kind of rotates who's in the spotlight.
Yes. In any modern group, everyone gets a turn to lead. The sax player might step up for a solo, or the trumpeter, or even the bass player. And for that moment, they're in charge. Everyone else shifts to support their idea.
So even though they have that map, that chord progression, it's still truly spontaneous.
It is because they're creating their phrases and rhythms based on what they're hearing from the other players in that exact moment. It's communication.
A conversation.
It's a musical conversation. The structure is the shared language, but the improvisation is what they're actually saying to each other.
So once they have that skill, how do they actually make the sound? The classic image of a jazz band is changing. What gear are they using today?
Well, the traditional instruments are still there for sure, especially in what we call big bands.
And a big band is
Yeah.
huge, right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking massive groups. You might have 4 trumpets and 4 trombones just in the brass section. It creates this incredible wall of sound.
I have noticed, though, that the rhythm section looks different. That huge wooden double bass is often swapped out for an electric bass.
It is, and that's really a practical adaptation. An electric bass is way more portable, easier to tour with, and you can shape its sound electronically. That's really where technology starts to redefine things.
So what other tech are we talking about? I'm guessing synthesizers.
Absolutely. Electric guitars and synths are used all the time to create new textures and sounds that just weren't possible before. Even drummers are adapting. They'll mix electronic pads in with their acoustic kit to trigger modern sounds.
You can end up with these huge, complex sounds from just like 3 or 4 people on stage.
Mhm.
How do they do that? Is that where looping comes in?
Yes, looping technology is a game changer for small bands. It lets a musician record a small piece of what they're playing live.
Like a rhythm part or something.
Yeah, right, a rhythm part or a harmony. And then a pedal or computer plays it back on a loop instantly. So one musician can basically become their own backing band.
So they're almost producing a track live on stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can build up layers and layers of sound all by themselves. A guitarist could loop a bass line, then a rhythm part, and then just soar over the top of it with a solo. It's incredible.
And to capture all that, the recording and production has to be top-notch.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Sound engineers use really high-quality microphones to capture every little detail, the breath from a horn player, the soft sound of a finger on a string.
And then they do something called mastering. What does that actually mean for us, the listener?
Think of it like the final polish on a photo. Mastering is where they optimize the sound so it's consistent. The goal is to make the song sound great whether you're listening on amazing headphones or just on your phone speaker. It brings clarity and balances the volume for everything.
Which is essential now because of how we all listen to music.
Yeah.
Which brings us to access. The internet totally changed the game for finding this music, right?
It's a revolution. It completely removed the geographical barriers. Artists can now record professional quality albums in their own home studios with a powerful computer. They don't always need a huge, expensive studio anymore.
And for anyone listening, that means you, as a student in, say, London, can instantly discover a new artist from Los Angeles or a whole new scene happening in Germany just through streaming services.
And beyond that, the musicians themselves are using social media and video sites to share tutorials, give lessons, and stream live performances to a global audience. The knowledge is just out there.
And all that sharing has led to one of the coolest things in modern jazz, which is fusion or crossover.
Yes, exactly. This is where the music really pushes its boundaries. Modern jazz players are super open-minded. They're mixing their complex music with genres you hear every day.
Like hip-hop, rock.
Hip-hop, rock, electronic dance music, even pop. They're blending the deep harmony and improvisation of jazz with the rhythms and sounds of what's popular today.
And that fusion keeps the music fresh.
It keeps it fresh, and it brings it to a much wider, more diverse audience. It proves the basic ideas of jazz can work in almost any context.
Sounds fascinating.
And what's really cool is even if you think you've never listened to jazz, you've probably heard its influence every single day.
How so?
Well, listen to some of the big R&B songs on the radio. The complex chords, that jazz harmony, it's often hitting right there in the song's structure.
So the people writing those pop songs studied jazz.
They did. Or think about a rapper's flow. That complex, syncopated rhythm is often rooted in the polyrhythmic traditions of jazz. It has soaked into everything.
So how does a musician even get that good? It can't happen overnight.
No, it's years of intense dedication. Students spend hours every single day just practicing scales and musical patterns until it's second nature.
Like a language.
It is a language. And they also study the legends, Miles Davis, Duke Ellington, to understand how that language developed.
And teachers put a lot of focus on something called ear training. What is that exactly?
It's the ability to hear a sound and play it back instantly. It's not just about reading notes on a page. It's about being able to react in real time to the music you're hearing around you. It's essential for improvisation.
And I know things like high school jazz festivals and summer camps are a really big deal.
They're vital. That's where you learn how to perform. You meet other players, you learn from pros, and you practice playing under pressure. The community is just as important as the classroom.
And speaking of pressure, the jazz club itself is still a really important place.
It's almost a sacred space.
Yeah.
They're often these small, intimate venues where the audience is right on top of you. There's nowhere to hide.
Wow.
That energy forces you to be excellent. And for a young musician, getting a gig at a famous club in New York is a huge career milestone. It means you've arrived.
Which brings us to the business side of it, because being a pro musician today is about more than just playing well.
Oh, it's just as complex as the music. You have to be an entrepreneur.
The whole model has changed.
Completely. Most artists are their own managers now. They're booking their own shows, running their own social media, designing their own merch. It's a constant hustle.
Because you can't really make a living from streaming royalties alone.
No, they're tiny, so you have to diversify. You sell t-shirts and vinyl records at shows to help pay for the tour. A lot of musicians also teach at universities or give private lessons to make a steady income.
And they collaborate a lot, right?
Collaboration is key. Creatively, of course, but also financially. If two or three artists record an album together, they can split the costs and double their marketing reach. It's just smart business.
And on the business side, there's another really important positive shift happening right now with women in jazz.
It's maybe one of the most important changes in the last couple of decades. For a long time, women were pretty much limited to being singers in jazz.
But that's not the case anymore.
Not at all. We are seeing incredible female instrumentalists, composers, and conductors becoming leaders in the industry. They're running famous bands as saxophonists, pianists, drummers. It's changing fast.
And that has to change the sound of the music itself, right?
It has to. It brings new perspectives, new styles of composing, and a wider range of influences. When you broaden the diversity of the artists, you make the art itself stronger. It's that simple.
So, to wrap this all up, modern jazz is this demanding art form that really rewards curiosity and hard work, but its core values, creativity, listening, improvising, that's what guarantees it will keep changing and reflecting the world.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is music that rewards you for taking risks and for collaborating. And as long as people need a way to express complex ideas and feelings through sound, the framework of jazz is going to survive. It's a really powerful, living force in music today, sometimes hiding in plain sight.
Go check out a big band performance near you, or explore the sounds of the modern female composers leading the charge today. That's a great path to discovery. Good luck with your studies.